What's up folks, my name is Felix. Welcome back to another video on the BNB Miner. Today I want to especially talk about my profit taking strategy as well as what I do with my profits after I cash them out from the BNB Miner, which I am now already doing since May last year. So for example, if you watched my video around 5 to 6 days ago from the 1st of October, there I mentioned that I already generated almost 3.7k from this BNB miner with just a deposit of 160 US dollars or 0.4 BNB in the beginning of May last year. And if we take a look on the current statistics before we get into my strategy, you can also see that the contract balance at that time, so around 5 days ago, here on the 1st of October, was sitting at 515 BNB. So the contract balance grew by over 40 BNB over just the last 5 days. And not only that, no, if we jump over to DeFi Insight and take a look at the current statistics of the investors, we are sitting at 27k and 530 investors. And at the time I recorded my last video, you can also take a look at those statistics, which were at around 70,508. So also over 22 new investors in those just 5 days, which means an average of over 4 new investors per day since my last video, which are of course all good signs. And to continue with the statistics, we can also see, we take a look on the contract users here, if we make this a little bit bigger, that we had a smaller uptrend here since the end of September and the beginning of October, as well if we take a look on the contract interactions here. So this one a little bit bigger, we can see that a lot of BNB were deposited since September, so almost 1,000 US dollars in BNB every single day. And over the last days, we even had quite bigger days with 2.5k and almost 7k here at the 3rd of October. You can also see this if we take a look on the transactions over the last 30 days. Here again explained, the blue bar shows the sent out BNB from the smart contract, the black bar shows the deposited BNB, and 9 out of the last 11 days in the smart contract were positive days, which means we had bigger deposits than withdrawals, so a plus in BNB, more deposits than withdrawals. Another thing which I wanted to show you is the graphic where the contract balance over the last 6 months of the BNB miner is displayed. And for example, if you got in around 4 to 6 months ago, you would probably already be ROI'd if you took profits on a continued basis. Here we were coming down from the miner season cycle, then we had a uptrend. Here, for example, the account balance just doubled in this 1 month, and then we were going back down to these 500, 550 levels currently. And if we even that out right here, it should be the same contract balance over the last 4 to 6 months, of course, an average. And that means you should have gotten almost your ROI, or maybe you also ROI'd over those last 6 months over this lifespan of the project. The last thing which I wanted to show you before we talk about my strategy is that we got listed on DeFi now. So the BNB miner is listed on here, the oldest project with 927 days. Currently a very high total value locked, still over 100k, almost 120k. And if we scroll through this page, you can see very nice statistics, for example, the deposits and withdrawals. So the 10 last transactions over here. And even more interesting, all deposits and all withdrawals from the top users, so to say from the whales. And I, for example, picked the second one for this video. The first one is, of course, the Dev wallet. But the second one here is a whale, which withdrew almost 178k here from the smart contract of the BNB miner. And if we jump into the transactions of this whale and put in the advanced filters, we can also see when this whale got in. So we have to search for BuyX transactions, jump to the last page, and there we can see the whale started depositing on the 12th of April last year with 25 BNB, and also put in another 263 BNB on the 28th of April. And if we take a look at the chart, that was right here before the second cycle started. This was the miner bull run. So you might want to pay attention to those whales when they get in, because this is almost every time a sign that we will move into another upcycle. It might not be this bigger bull runs here, but it might be a smaller upcycle. And that's why I'm always paying attention to their actions. So if we jump back and take a look what this wallet is currently doing, we can see that the last transaction of this wallet was at the 13th of August this year. and it's basically not getting any BNB anymore from the smart contract. That means this wallet gave up. So our biggest risk here in this case, so the biggest whale which got the most amount, even double of the amount of the second biggest whale, is out of the BNB miner, which is always a good sign. So if this wallet wants to start again, if it wants to catch up with all the other investors, it would need to put in new BNB into the smart contract of the BNB miner. We of course want to avoid this scenario, and that's why I want to show you what I'm currently doing. My profit taking strategy, as well as what I do when the contract balance is slightly decreasing, going to 500, maybe 400, maybe even 200. There's of course always a possibility that such kind of a scenario will happen, but I believe, as I already talked about in all my previous videos about the BNB miner, that we will go into a third cycle at latest when we see the next bull run, and then we will see another cycle like this or like this. Because what do you think which project people are aiming for if they come into DeFi and they see that there's a project completely immutable? There can't be any changes in the future. It's completely community owned, which is still running and paying out up to 3% daily. So I think the answer is quite easy. We just have to make them aware of this project. So let's talk about my profit taking strategy. So when the contract balance is decreasing, I'm not taking any profits. I'm just compounding my earnings several times a day. I'm also doing that when the contract balance is going up, but then I take profits from time to time, usually 2 to 3 times a week, but then I deposit some funds back into the contract, and the rest of the capital, the rest of the profits I use for blue chips. So if we take a look what I did over the last week, since I saw the contract balance going back up, I took profits, and I took those profits and swapped them into Bitcoin on the Binance Smart Chain. I know this is not real Bitcoin, but it has exposure to the performance of Bitcoin, and that's exactly what I want to have if we go into another crypto bull run. And I'm calling this the Bitcoin/ETH strategy. Currently, I'm just accumulating Bitcoin, but for the next 2 weeks, I might take my profits and swap them into ETH. And then I try to leverage those profits. I come over, for example, to pages like PancakeSwap and search for farms for my BTCB or for my Ethereum here on the Binance Smart Chain. And there are, as you can already see, quite attractive farms. So if you want to leave some profits in BNB, you can also pair up your BNB with Bitcoin on the Binance Smart Chain. Or there's also the option to pair your Bitcoin with USDT, get an APR of 31%, which is quite attractive, at least for me. You can see there is not much liquidity staked. So if the staked liquidity goes up, of course the APRs go down, but then you might just switch the pools. The transaction fees on the Binance Smart Chain are obviously not that expensive. And yeah, that's what I'm basically doing with my earnings from the BNB mine. Of course, we should all take care of the community. Don't take profits in a way that the community gets hurt or that the smart contract gets hurt. That's where I only take profits when we are on the way up, when the contract balance is rising, because there are a lot of deposits. Then I don't hurt the smart contract, all the other investors, and also not my own bag, which is currently, to also show that in this video, sitting at a current TVL of 10.45 BNB. I hope that gave you a better picture what I'm currently doing with my profits from this great project. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section. If you don't want to miss update videos on the BNB miner or other DeFi projects, you might also want to subscribe, because I release videos on a daily basis. And if you liked today's video, it would be great if you can hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.